camera on as much as possible, especially when we're interacting with our presenters. And then, of course, to mute your mic unless you will ask questions, and to use the chat box to send questions or comments. Okay po ba tayo doon? So, can I get a thumbs up kung okay po tayo sa ating session rules or our session, yung parang just some etiquette natin throughout this session. All right, so we encourage everyone, of course, to ask questions. You will have an opportunity for everyone to share to raise questions, to maybe share their ideas then in the latter part. So after every half of our session. Okay. Sige po. So, of course, to welcome us all here, we would like to invite Mr. Peter Danbaon, the Program Manager of the Center of Excellence. So we encourage everyone, of course, to ask questions. You will have an opportunity for everyone to share words about to welcome us all here. Parang to raise questions, to maybe share their ideas then in the latter part. So after every half of our session. Okay. Yes, so of course, to welcome us all here, we would like to invite Mr. Peter Danbaon natin throughout the session in the center. Right, so we encourage everyone, of course, to ask questions. You will have an opportunity for everyone to share words about welcome us all here. Parang to raise questions, to maybe share their ideas then in the latter part. So after every half of our session. Okay. Yes, so of course, to welcome us all here, we would like to invite Mr. Peter Danbaon natin throughout the session in the center. Right, so we encourage everyone, of course, to ask questions. You will have an opportunity for everyone to share words welcome us all here. Parang to raise questions, to maybe share their ideas then in the latter part. So after every half of our session. Okay. So
Kaya ako na lang. I-remote to yan.
Ma'am Bea? Ma'am Beatrice?
yes po, ma'am.
Pero para po kang kasama sa waiting room pa.
Okay po, we're starting to let people into the room. Ho? So, Ella,
Thank you.
can you just let them into the room, please? So you will also see now we've shared the link to our live stream. So if you have colleagues who would like to watch our session, our sharing session, you can also send them the live stream link. Okay, so nandyan lang po yan sa chat. So we'll also keep bumping this up every now and then. Again, just a reminder po, please mute your mic, keep your mic muted so that we can all hear our presenters. Okay? Sige po, so yung mga hindi pa po nakamute, please just check if you've muted before. Okay, check na lang po. Para marinig natin yung mga magagaling ho nating mga agencies. They've worked very hard on their presentation. So it's very exciting to hear from them. All right. So we are now, okay, I think we can we start na? We can start? Okay po. So I'll pass the mic again to Sir Peter for his opening remarks.
Araw here sa Manila.
Okay, to our participants, on behalf of the Development Academy of the Philippines and project team, good morning and welcome to the sharing session of the Designing Citizen-Centered Public Service Improvement Program. I believe there are still some participants that are not.
Sir Peter, can you just unmute yourself? I muted everyone na po.
Okay. So again, good morning. The Philippines' current situation challenges the public sector to
Everyone, again po, please please mute your mic so we can all hear our participants. So please check lang po baka may napindot or baka hindi lang po natin na-adjust yung microphones natin. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, let me again greet you. Good morning. So, as a context, the Philippines' current situation challenges the public sector to continuously deliver quality services despite our limited resources, restriction, and continually evolving health situation. Around the world, governments had to apply more innovative and citizen-centered approaches to meet the changing demands of its clients and public. Hence, the Development Academy of the Philippines, as the focal institutions of the Asian Productivity Organization's Center of Excellence on Public Sector Productivity, organized the Designing Citizen-Centered Public Service Improvements Program. Over the past months, with 3 phases, many of the organizations present today have developed service improvement that they have further developed and even implemented. Today, we will learn about how their projects evolved during this time and the effects this had on services and operations. We also have with us today participants who completed last year's workshop and will share with us the results of their innovation projects. Through this sharing activity, we hope you can all take away lessons that you can use for respective organizations' innovation and productivity journeys. We encourage everyone to join the discussion by asking our participants questions or share your insights during the open forum by sending it in the chat box. We also hope that you find opportunities through this activity to collaborate with the participating agencies so that together we can create more harmonized, efficient, and effective public service. Again, thank you and we welcome you to the sharing session.
Okay, thank you, Sir Peter, for your for welcoming us to this activity, and also, of course, for giving us another overview of our activities over the past few months or even longer for some of our participants. Okay, sige po. So now I will get into the different presenters. We'll go into first the different presenters, and then after that, you can actually share your ideas, or even during while they're presenting, you can share your ideas, and then we will also even allot time for after their presentations for you to maybe ask questions or maybe even to share ideas. Okay, so again, each agency will have around 10-15 minutes maximum to present the progress of their respective service improvements. So these are our presenters for today. So first, we will have the Department of Health, and then they will be followed by the Department of Tourism, the Department of Social Development, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, and then of course the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So we'll divide this into 2 phases or to 2 sections. The first one, of course, yung first 3 natin, Department of Health, Department of Tourism, Department of Social Welfare and Development. And then you will have some time to ask them questions. And then after that, they will be followed by the PIDEA, TESDA, and DIA. Again po, just a reminder, please mute yourselves para marinig po natin yung mga presenters. So check lang po natin sa taas ng bar, sa baba na bar kung merong, kung naka-mute po tayo. Okay? That will just help us better hear yung mga presenters natin. Okay. Sige po. So, yes, let's dive into it. So, we would like to call on the Department of Health to present
Designing Citizen-Centered Public Service Improvement.
So, yun po. We'll just call on the Department of Health to introduce their project. to introduce their innovation project to us. Okay, so the floor is yours to our team from the Department of Health.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me share to you my screen first.
Ipakwan ba? Ipa-expect na
It's not sharing, Miss Beatrice. I think, okay,
There po, ma'am.
okay. Okay. Did you see it po?
It's about to, na po, okay na po.
Okay. Adjust. Okay, once again, good morning, everyone. So we are from Health Facilities and Services Regulatory Bureau of the Department of Health. On behalf of my group mates, I'm Eloida Flores. I would like to acknowledge also the presence of my group mate, Mr. Cholo Faris. Good morning. And also, I would like to recognize some of my group mates, Ms. Caleja and Ms. Tolentino. So this is our output, virtual inspection for the initial licensing of health facilities. So for the information of everyone, this service has been successfully institutionalized for almost a year now after we attended to the Development Academy of the Philippines workshop entitled Designing Citizen-Centered Public Service Improvement last November 24, 27, 2020 that served as a catalyst to the possibility of doing virtual inspection.
Hotel quarantine dito.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am Eloida, you're mute po.
Okay, I will start
Yes,
from the
ma'am.
bottom.
Yeah,
Oh,
from
sorry.
the context.
From the context. Okay, a context, overview of the presentation before service improvement, productivity gaps, bottlenecks, wastage, negative feedback, and under description of the service improvement, we have objectives, key features, milestone, impact of the service improvement, plans for the future service of the service. So to give you an overview of the project, last year after we are under enhanced community quarantine and travel restrictions, processing of application for license to operate or LTO, a health facility were put to hold since inspection cannot be conducted. As a remedy, application were endorsed to our regional counterparts. So we have offices in the regions, so we endorse it to them. However, the process takes too long since their offices are also overburdened with application under their own jurisdiction. So last November 2020, with test runs of the service were conducted by the FHS survey that to prove that virtual inspection is alternative to close contact setting, such as face-to-face or physically present or on-site inspection to reduce the possible risk of infection. And also, the test runs also prove that we can still deliver our duties by conducting virtual inspection instead of on-site inspection. So to institutionalize the project, we officially implemented the conduct of virtual inspection through the DC Department Circular number 2021-006, dated last January 8, 2021. And this is the guidelines in the conduct of virtual inspection for the initial licensing of health facilities. And these were disseminated, we posted it in our net and disseminated to all the concerned stakeholders, including the health facilities, all the division chiefs, and all the regulatory officers. So this was signed by our Undersecretary then in Regulation, Maria Rosario Silverhere. So who are our clients? Of course, the facility owners and general public. So I listed this one in our DC. So this is the actuals because we see to it that everybody could follow, including our regional counterparts, step by step. So under virtual inspection, will be conducted for initial application of all types of health facilities, except for hospitals, kidney transplantation facilities, human stem cell and cell-based on cellular therapy facilities and medical facilities for overseas workers and seafarers. So the initial application include newly established facility of the site, and those applying for changes in their accreditation, such as but not limited to the increase of stations or the change of ownership and additional services. I hope you can follow the process. So in doing virtual inspection, we have three phases of process. We have the pre-inspection process, the inspection proper, and the post-inspection proper. I will not give you the detail because this is only lifted in our guidelines so that our regulatory compliance officer in our region can follow. So in doing the inspection process, of course, the office will notify the client, facility to include the date of inspection, and to submit all the requirements needed to determine the readiness of the facility. So in the virtual inspection, we require the facility to submit walkthrough video, which is hindi namin ginagawa doon sa normal inspection namin before the pandemic, aside from the photos. And this is also to determine if the facility is very ready to have the inspection. So, of course, after that, the assigned inspection team will review the submitted documents to be validated during the inspection proper. So the team will send invitation link, like what we're doing right now, any available online platform to prepare mobile device during the tour and measuring device for the walkthrough. So in the inspection proper, of course, it is very important to start the opening conference and introduction of the team, and also the process flow of the inspection. The purpose is very important, and we are telling them that this is the whole process will be recorded, just like what we are doing right now. So the inspection proper will followed by the walkthrough, a tour of the facility. We see to it that we will start from the outside to make sure na yung facility na ini-inspect namin ay yun talaga. Siyempre, may mga ibang facility talaga na hindi mo maasahan. There are a lot of scrupulous things happening. So we see to it, we confirm. So we started to the outside to make sure that this is the actual, or that includes the proof of location. And after that, this will be followed by the exit conference, giving of the summary of findings, feedback. Of course, yung feedback for the process, like we want to get the feedback of the virtual inspection. So through them, we can assess how to improve, what are the problems encountered, what are the suggestions. In the post-inspection, of course, these are more documentary. Of course, the official report of the findings will be sent to the facility within 24 hours, and we give them 30 days compliance. So all the documents will be consolidated and filed or saved in the USB flash drive for ISO, because we have the ISO QMS, quality audit, and also for future reference, kasi minsan, may mga pagtatalo, so that will serve as an evidence to avoid misunderstanding. So these are the productivity gaps. So what we encountered was, of course, the internet connection, stability of the office and the health facility internet connection. The facilities are strained in scanning and uploading large and bulk documents, and hard time during the tour of facility when struggling with poor signal. So in service improvement, so we have this goal to conduct a virtual inspection that is effective and of course reliable, because what we are doing, our mandate is patient safety. It should be reliable. So to perform the function and mandate of the Bureau despite of this pandemic. So these are the success indicator, effectiveness, 100% of the assessment tool was covered. 100% of the required documents were submitted and evaluated prior to inspection. 50% of the inspection time was reduced as compared to the regular inspection. And of course, yung reliability, 100% of the data in the submitted documents are validated. 100% of the LPO were released within the timeline as the regular inspection. So these are the key features. So we are very happy to give you the key features that we gain from the virtual inspection. Of course, number one, very economical. We don't need to spend so much money or unlike for the travels because the on-site, we need to pay the transport. So this one does not require RT-PCR test because before you can travel, you need to secure RT-PCR test. Of course, very safe, time saving. Before it's very hard to us to inspect those hard to reach areas. So now we have the access. And of course, we have the work from home setting. So this is very ideal. All key personnel of the facility can attend the open and exit conference, even they are outside of the facility or abroad. Before, when the CEO is not around, only those people who are present will relay the outcome of the inspection. And sometimes it could lead to misunderstanding because this is the second-hand information. But now, even the CEO or the key personnel is outside of the country, they can attend because we send them invitation. So of course, no delays in processing of license to operate or faster in processing of license to operate. So these were the steps taken. The virtual inspection was expanded to include hospitals, but at limited capacity like increase in bed, extension of facilities, and additional services. Because before the onset of the virtual, we started it in small facilities, but nung medyo nagamay na namin, we expanded it. So it's very successful. Number two, further, the service was adapted by the other divisions, Quality Assurance and Monitoring Division, in the monitoring of existing health facilities. So to institutionalize the conduct of business monitoring of health facilities, we issued a Department Circular number 2021-0355 dated August 2021. And this was signed by our retired health regulation, Dr. Gerardo Payugo. So these were also disseminated in the field and all the concerned stakeholders. So the milestone of the project, of course, increased compliance to the RA 11032 or the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018, specifically the Citizen Charter timelines. So productivity gains, of course, number one, significantly reduced backlogs in scheduling of inspection. Number two, targeted number of facilities monitored were met. Number three, of course, it provided a venue for fast communication, verification, and clarification of issues and concerns through the creation of Yahoo or Viber community or Messenger with the key personnel of the inspected facility. So these are the total number of facilities inspected and monitored. So naka 500 din kami sa inspection and monitoring. We have 104. So we are very happy about it. So the impact of the service improvement, these are the challenges encountered in further developing of implementing the project. First, the poor internet connection of both parties, limited knowledge in the technology, how to use the Google Drive, extract zip lines, compress files, breakout sessions, etc. Number three, provision of external hard drive and earphones for storage, of course. Develop different strategies or innovation and apply whatever works best in each team. So if hindi nag-work sa isang platform, we go to another platform. So medyo nagamay na namin siya how to do about it if we have problems encountered. So key learnings and next steps, of course, we want to request the knowledge management and information technology service KMITs for the increase in the internet speed and stability of the office internet. KMITs is in our office. They are in charge of the information technology. Provision of external hard drive for more storage of files and archiving documents. Of course, additional manpower with technical knowledge on how on online platform and troubleshooting since doon na rin papunta. And I would like also to add that if ever man na mawala yung pandemic, it could be an alternative for us to increase our target because pwede namin i-alternate yung on-site and virtual. for the facilities. Of course, pag lisensyado, protektado, maraming salamat po. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Eloy, and thank you, DOH. So ito po yung e-inspect na project po nila, yung virtual inspection na project. So this is one of the earliest projects that we've actually conceptualized out of the DCCPSI program. So thank you very much again, DOA, and congratulations po for implementing your project. Okay, so our next presenter will be from the Department of Tourism. So the Department of Tourism was also one of our first participants in the project. So we call on the Department of Tourism, Sinister Stephen, to share their presentation and to talk about their service improvement project. Thank you again, DOH. So let's all give a round of applause to the Department of Tourism.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Bea. For the DOT, Ms. Charm will be presenting. Ms. Charm.
Good morning, everyone. May I request for option po.
So Ma'am Eloy, can we just stop sharing po so DOT can share their screen?
Sorry.
Ma'am Charm, the floor is yours po.
Good morning, everyone. So for DOT po, ang aming isi-share with you is yung aming accreditation of tourism enterprises. So wait lang po. So last September 29, 2020 po, we launched our online accreditation. That is very in time when we had our DAP learning sessions noong October po. So ito po yung update namin with regards to our online accreditation process. So for the overview of the service, so DOT accreditation for everybody's information is a certification issued by the department to a tourism enterprise that officially recognizes it as having complied with the minimum standards and for the operation of tourism facilities and services. So ang client po natin dito, dalawang klase po tayo, for one primary and yung secondary is yung secondary tourism enterprises. So for primary, that covers po the accommodation establishments such as hotels, resorts, and apartment hotels. For travel and tour agencies naman po, yung mga tour operators, travel agencies, and then yung mga online travel agencies. For tourist transport operators, that covers both land, air, and sea transport. MICE organizers and MICE facilities, adventure and sports tourism services, tour guides. Then yung secondary po natin, restaurants, health and wellness facilities, kagaya po ng spa, ambulatory clinics, tertiary hospitals, theme parks and zoos, among others. So yung how many steps naman po does it have? So sa online system po natin, we have actually 4 client steps. First, they have to register. This registration is a step only applicable for our new applicants. And then next is yung submit, or they have to file their application po together with the required documentary requirements. And third step is yung payment, which is actually waived for this during this pandemic. And last is yung claiming of accreditation certificate, which is also made possible na hindi na po siya muna kunin. Ngayong certificate has to be secured from the physical office. So ngayon po sa online system, it is e-certificate po, makakakuha na sila for advanced copy. Next naman po, for productivity gaps, what were the bottlenecks? First is yung paper-based action. So pre our online system, and during the transition, yung paper-based action po. So the DOT personnel cannot do action kapag wala po yung papel on their hand. So they have to be on the office or at least dala-dala nila yung mga application. But with the online system, all they have to do is to log in their respective accounts. So pwede na rin po nilang ma-access yung mga applications so that they can evaluate and they can do necessary action on the application. And then yung another bottleneck po is the limited number of inspectors versus the number of applicants. DOT experienced a surge in the number of application, lalo na po ngayong pandemic dahil po ang IATF supports DOT accreditation. So meron pong policy ang IATF na DOT accreditation as a prerequisite to operate. So meron po tayong surge ng applicants. And then next kung bottleneck is yung nagcha-channel down po yung mga applications sa one user, which is yung division chief and yung approval ng regional director. Where were the delays? So during the manual po, ang delay po doon natin is yung applicant po has to go to the DOT office para po makapag-apply. So with the online system po, this part is taken away. And then yung processing of administrative requirements prior to the conduct of inspection. So yung mga documents po kasi bago po tayo makalakad, alam naman po natin to lahat. Meron po tayong mga travel order, mga processing po ng other documents apart from the inspection checklist. Meron po tayong mga pinaprocess which takes their own time bago po makalakad yung ating mga inspector. And lastly po is yung report submission, which is actually very necessary lalo na po ngayon. Weekly updates po ang hinihingi ng ating IATF and ating management. So yung manual reports po take time, and ngayon po sa online system natin, this is speed up. So based on our assessment in terms of resources, wala naman pong na-waste sa yung DOT, and yung pain points po were actually the longer processing time. So for the service improvements, so as ang service improvement nga po namin is yung deployment po natin ng online accreditation system. Ito po yung objectives namin, to develop and deploy a fully functional online system platform that will facilitate the acceptance, processing, and approval of the DOT accreditation system. So ngayon po, web-based po ang ating application. So pwede pong mag-apply via your laptop or pwede rin mobile friendly din po siya. Next naman po is yung key features po natin. So based po dito sa client-facing features natin, ito po, meron po siyang registration na feature. So for first-time applicants po, magre-register po siya dito sa ating website. And then yung mga susunod po niyang application, hindi na po niya kailangan mag-register. Diretso na po siya sa login na account niya, and then process po niya yung application. Then online submission of application and documentary requirements. Next po is yung email notification for the progress of application. So every time na nagkakaroon ng development sa ating application, there is an automatic email notification sent to the applicant. And then yung nga po nabanggit kanina natin na generation of e-certificate. And then yung system-based CSS na kaka-integrate lang natin late this year. Next naman po yung features naman po for the internal staff. So since meron po tayong RA 11032, yung sa ease of doing business, very critical po yung time. So yung sa feature po ng online system natin, time bound po siya. So it prompts the DOT user na hanggang time frame, halimbawa po ang submission of report is a certain number of days, may notification po natatanggap si DOT user para po ma-prompt siya or maging aware siya na mag-due na yung kanyang task. So,
Sa YouTube
email
lang to.
notification and then yung notification on the website kapag ka-login, meron po yon. And then yung report
Oo.
generation,
Tsaka
so
mayroon
meron
akong
na pong
PIDEA
report
workshop
creation
mamaya.
facility sa ating system para hindi na po sila manually
Oh.
gumagawa ng report. And then inspection report and uploading. So yung mga pag nag-inspect po sila, it's a paper type inspection checklist. So pwede na po nilang i-upload yung inspection report nila.
Nasa
And
YouTube
then
kasi
system-based
ako.
computation
So
of fees,
Facebook.
although hindi pa po ito naka-up ngayon dahil naka-waive po yung fees natin.
Oo,
But
wala.
the system will be able to compute the necessary fees based on the type of enterprise po na
Oo, dito sa
nag-a-apply.
YouTube mismo. Wala
Next
naman.
naman po is yung steps that we take to further develop and improve our service improvement. So, meron po 2-year maintenance contract that we have with our web developer. So dahil po dito na-make sure po natin na every time na magkakaroon ng problema sa system, it will be easily addressed by the developer itself. And then yung currently we also are evaluating the proposal for the online payment facility while we are preparing for the new normal. So yung online payment facility po nire-ready na natin. And then another improvement that we are planning on is yung monitoring of online system activities through regular feedback from various users. So currently po kasi ang satisfaction survey lang po na meron tayo is yung AO25 prescribed na feedback form, but the feedback on the online system as to its user friendliness and all functionalities wala pa po. So i-up pa lang po natin ito. So yung milestones naman po natin for the online system, for the first year of its implementation, we were able to register 14,287 applicants, and we were able to process 4,720 process, meaning na certificate release po natin to, and the rest are in process or either disapproved. So if we compare the productivity gaps with the service improvement, so ito po siya. So yung paper-based action, naging online na po siya. And then yung email notification po for the applicants and the DOT users, we have that to avoid po natin yung parang napaprompt sila sa pendings nila para hindi, kahit na limited pa rin po yung number of inspectors natin and meron pa rin pong funneling to the division chief and regional director, at least they are made aware of the time. And then yung report submission din po na manual, it's online, it's report generation na po. In terms naman po ng feedback from our clients, as mentioned, wala po tayong feedback for the functionalities of the system. But what we have is yung client satisfaction for accreditation processing in general. And based on the submitted reports from January to September of 2021, we have an average 100% satisfaction rating. And these are purely from our clients. Wala po kaming collated from the DOT users pa. So I think this is also one of the improvements later on that we can work on. So for the key learnings naman po and next steps, ang challenges po namin na na-encounter before and up to now, syempre yung from time to time we encounter system bugs. Then yung sa kapag mag-i-implement tayo ng bagong feature sa system, kailangan po ng test server, and DOT does not have a test server at the moment. So yun po yung wino-work out natin. And then funding source po and yung procurement process, medyo matagal lang din po kasi yung procurement process natin. So next naman po is yung learnings po natin sa ating experience. So during our scoping with the online system, we realized that we can further narrow down the steps and the information required in the application forms. And pwede rin pong i-maximize yung online system for other processes that we have, kagaya po ng monitoring. So, other areas for improvement in the project. So, ito po yung mga na-identify namin na pwede pong maging next step sa system. First is yung integration of various forms for auto-generation, kagaya po ng mga pro forma na mission orders, yung mga templated naman na po na letters. Pwede po siya dito i-integrate so that it will be auto-generated na po. And then yung direct inspection report encoding. So at the moment po kasi ina-upload pa lang po yung report. So eventually we are looking at, on the future, we are looking at encoding the report directly. And then yung feedback nga po for users regarding the online system features. Next naman po is yung available opportunities to strengthen the online system of the DOT. First is the payment gateway. So in the pipeline na po ito, we are talking to various payment gateway providers, and then we are also considering add-on facility kagaya po ng courier option, kagaya po nung sa DFA na if you get your passport, you can opt for them to deliver it to you. So parang ganun din po, we can deliver the accreditation certificate and other paraphernalia to our client. And then the possible acquisition of multiple servers in key locations. And then expanding the coverage of the online system, integration of monitoring scheme in the online system. And then ito nga po yung para directly na po makapag-encode ng inspection report is yung app-based inspection checklist and system. And then yung mobile number notification para po sana mas madali kasi po hindi naman po lahat ng tao always open yung email. So I think mobile number is one way to go so that they be notified kapag mag-expire na yung yung accreditation nila or if there's a development in their application. How do you intend to strengthen your project? So appropriate funding source, that's our number one. And then yung coordination with our IT division para po hindi siya para po maging consistent siya doon sa ISSP natin. And then yung continuous maintenance po of the online system. So yun po for DOT. That's it. Thank you po.
Thank you, Ma'am Charm, and thank you to everyone from the DOT. So, yung DOT din po yung isa sa mga first namin na participants dito sa program. So, it's nice to see din po that the service improvement or the innovation project has been implemented and it's been doing well so far po. Okay, so let's give a warm round of applause dun po ulit to DOT, to our participants from DOT, sina Ma'am Charm, sina Sir Stephen, and to their entire team. So congratulations po again to the DOT. Okay, sige po. So our next participant or our next presenter is from one of our more recent na runs of our program. So let's all give a warm round of applause to the Department of Social Welfare and Development. They'll be presenting their related to the MTA application. Okay, so welcome po natin ang DSWD, our participants from the SWD.
Ay, hello po. Magandang umaga. My name is Ivan with DAP. So I'm joined with my colleagues from the Department of Social Welfare and Development. So I will be presenting the system improvements and the proposed activities for the issuance of traveling clearance for minors traveling abroad. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so the name of the service, ito po yung overview ng service natin. Ito po yung tinatawag na issuance of travel clearance to minors traveling abroad. And primarily, yung mga clients po nito ay yung 18 years old and above, pwedeng related, either the parents and or the legal guardian nung mga minors na babiyahe abroad. So, it has 8 steps. 6 of those are operations and dalawa ay nasa inspections. So, to complete the entire process, it's tagged as a simple transaction and can be undertaken for 1 hour and 5 minutes. This was prior to the pandemic na setup. So 1 hour and 5 minutes kapag kukuha ka ng travel clearance. So ang assumption nito, pagdating ng kliyente sa DSWD premises, within 20 meters, yun lang yung kailangan niyang asikasuhin. And then 1 hour and 5 minutes, pwede niya nang makuha yung travel clearance. But during the course ng implementation, the following were the bottlenecks. Una, yung varying interpretation dun sa process and requirements. Kasi, for instance, the DFA is requiring travel clearance prior to issuance ng passport. Meanwhile, yung DSWD naman is requiring passport prior to the issuance ng clearance. So, nagkaroon during the initial course ng implementation, may mga ganong varying interpretations kaming na-encounter, but for during the time of pandemic, these were already settled. Tiningnan din siya. And then there were also challenges in compliance ng requirements and schedule ng interview kasi alam natin nagkaroon ng limitations sa travels and nagkaroon tayo ng imposition ng community lockdowns and quarantines. So the clients and of course the same with the personnel have the fear to be in contact with COVID-19. So na-reduce yung dami ng mga parents na nag-a-apply for travel clearance. So, saan ba yung mga delays? Nakita natin siya na nandun sa processing ng requirements at sa compliance ng steps. Yun lang, hindi namin ma-present ngayon, but the 1 hour and 5 minutes na dating napoproseso, nag-expand ito, minsan umaabot ng kalahating araw, minsan the next day pa bago natatapos yung pagkuha lang ng isang clearance. So, were there resources na nasayang? Una, yung time ng client. Siyempre kasama rin ng DSWD personnel kasi most of the staff na nag-i-issue nito are just part of their add-on functions. So instead na maiproseso niya sa short period of time, mas humaba yung proseso dahil sa dami ng additional health protocols na kino-comply. So what were the pain points? Madalas to naming nakikita at nakukuha sa CSMR feedback forms na mas matagal yung waiting time nila during the pandemic period. So, ito yung nakita nating service improvements. Una, ang objective ng service improvement ay i-make sure that the service is fully available and accessible online. Number 2, i-reduce yung face-to-face interaction, especially during the renewal ng MTA kasi merong iba, yung MTA is the Minors Traveling Abroad Clearance. Yung iba naman ay nagre-reapply na lang, say valid for a year, ang iba naman ay valid for 6 months. So, ang pangatlo, tinitingnan din na ma-eliminate yung waiting time ng applicants. So, ano-ano naman yung mga key features ng service improvement? For the clients, nandun yung online registration, yung application and submission of requirements. Sa side naman ng internal staff, nandun yung online interview and assessment and report generation. Ito naman yung mga steps na currently natapos na namin and are still ongoing. We have conducted Technology Institute and a private company named Bisuko to realize yung MTA prototype. Later, i-discuss ko ano yung itsura ng prototype regarding the online services using CloudLink technology. So, during the series of meetings and part of the MOU, we are now finalizing yung MOU para sa pilot implementation. This would be a free of charge sa side ng DSWD. Wala po kaming gagastusin for this part. So, kung sa question na compare yung productivity gaps before the service implementation, sa ngayon hindi pa namin siya agad-agad makikita kasi nasa users acceptability test phase pa kami noong nakaraang 2 linggo. And positive naman yung feedback ng mga prospect applicants natin dahil generally, hindi na nila kailangan pumunta ng DSWD para mag-process ng application and then na-reduce din yung steps through the use of online services. So, ang assumption namin for the key learning and next steps, ito yung mga challenges na nakikita namin. Una, yung lack ng kakulangan ng ICT hardware and technically yung know-how ng DSWD personnel that will process yung application through CloudLink technology. So we are also experiencing, and I know some of the offices also are having difficulty in providing online TA kasi we know for a fact na nare-reduce yung absorptive capacity at yung tagal ng level ng retention pag naka-online yung process natin on the provision of TA. So yun yung mga nakikita naming challenges so far. What are the available opportunities to strengthen your project? We're thinking na i-implement ito nationwide after the system's calibration. And then we need to increase yung coordination activities with DFA and Bureau of Immigration para ma-monitor yung mga returning children issued with travel clearance. It's because from the time that the service was implemented, wala kaming exact figure or wala kaming data kung gaano karami doon sa mga na-issuehan ng clearance ang bumabalik sa Philippines. So we are also in need of, I think, additional ICT support for this project. Now, ito yung itsura ng prototype that we are working with the OST and Bisuko. So the platforms would be made available in smartphone at saka sa online, sa web-based. And then the clients will have to register and sign up for an account. Tapos, meron dong lalabas na checklist and general information about the program or the Minors Traveling Abroad program. And they will sign e-consents, etc., and all other documents necessary. So, sa side ng social worker o sa side ng agency, ito yung mga gagawin niya. Una, i-check niya yung documents as to completeness and validity. Pangalawa, mag-conduct siya ng online interview and assessment. Then, third step, for e-appointment. And then, kung disapprove naman yung proseso during the course of online interview, pwedeng magkaroon ng electronic referrals to further help the client. Baka kasi hindi yung type ng service ng MPA yung kanyang hinahanap. Kasi in some cases, there were applicants na nagre-request ng travel clearance even for domestic travel. So, may mga ganong cases. So, ang tendency, hindi naman siya nagre-require pa ng travel clearance. So, on the appointment date, ito yung pwede niyang ibigay. Una, submission ng additional requirements. Kung kinakailangan pa, pwede rin siyang papuntahin for a face-to-face interview. Particular ito dun sa mga first-time applicants. And then, i-make sure on the date, merong schedule din ng e-appointment, e-payment options, and the release of travel clearance. So, tinitingnan namin na it would help us increase yung feedback system, feedback mechanism ng program. And this would be a shared data between the DSWD, Bureau of Immigration, and the DFA. So, marami pong salamat.
Thank you, Sir Ivan. Thank you, DSWD. So congratulations po on the progress you've made on your service improvement or your innovation project. So we're looking forward to seeing this being rolled out, or at least yung full rollout ng project ninyo. So let's give a round of applause to DSWD for their presentation and for, of course, the progress they've made on their project. Okay, so thank you po, DSWD. Okay, so before we go into the to the Q&A portion, we actually have one more presenter for this half. So we have Phil Rice here with us today. So they will present also their service improvement and the progress they've made in implementing, or at least in further developing their improvement. So DA Phil Rice was actually also one of our first participants in this program. So let's welcome DA Phil Rice, so sina Ms. Chona, for as they give their presentation today. Everyone, let's give a warm round of applause to DA Phil Rice.
Hello, good morning, Ms. Beatrice, and to all participants. Allow me to share my screen. So once again, good morning to all. On behalf of my colleagues at the Philippine Rice Research Institute, I will be updating you today on our takeaways from the Development Academy of the Philippines seminar, Designing Citizen-Centered Public Service Improvements. So I am Chona Sonerna Rades from the PhilRice Business Development Division, presenting to you the DA PhilRice Ipon La Rice Seed Information Systems. So for our presentation, the flow is guided by the recommended outline, which includes the context of the service improvement, the description of the service improvement, which is defined by the objectives, key features, and milestones. And we will also discuss the impact of the service improvement as well as the plans for the future of the said service. So here we go. What is the Ipunla Rice Seed Information System? It offers online assistance from choosing to buying seeds because as Phil Rice, our main product is to produce rice seeds. So clients of this service are rice seed growers and rice farmers. So there are 4 steps involved: choosing the variety, placing the order, payment of the order, and release and claiming of the seed order. Right now, actually, it takes about 16 to 20 minutes to complete a transaction. And our goal is to reduce the transaction time to 10 to 12 minutes only with this intervention. So actually, yung first 3 steps that I mentioned are within the office. They're near each other. So what adds to the processing time is the claiming of the seeds because our warehouse is about 70 to 90 meters away from the selling area. So what are the productivity gaps? The bottlenecks in the implementation of the Ipunla Rice Seed Information System includes internet speed and connectivity. Actually, I saw this also in the other participants na may factor po talaga yung internet speed and connectivity. Lalo na ang interventions natin ay puro online. So yung delays naman are in the form of procurement of equipment, installation of the equipment, and beta testing of the equipment. Kasi kailangan po may mga ginagamit kaming kiosk, ganon, and yun pong pagbili ng mga equipment na yun, dun po nagkaroon ng delay. Tapos meron din pong difficulty of interfacing of the new program with the existing program. Kasi actually, dahil new program siya, kailangan mag-interface siya dun sa dati namin ginagamit. So, meron din po tayong doon, kailangan i-merge, kailangan natin silang i-marry. Tapos, we have to roll out this program to all PhilRice branches nationwide. So right now, you are hearing me from PhilRice Central Experiment Station in Muñoz, Nueva Ecija. And this program will also be available in all our branches nationwide. So there are about 8 PhilRice branches nationwide. And thankfully, all our resources were fully utilized. And some of the pain points are in the form of user adoption. So since medyo techy nga siya, some of the users felt na hindi nila alam, ganon. So may QR code, etc. So we are encouraging them to adapt. So service improvement. So what are the objectives of the service improvement? So the Ipunla verifies the seed growers as accredited to take part of the whole rice seed system in the Philippines and provides avenue for digitization of forms, automation of gathering data and information toward digital transformation with traceability from seed to seed as the end in mind. So we digitize the service, pero beyond that, we also want traceability. For example, yung isang farmer bumili ng seed, we want to give them information kung saan galing yung seed na yun through this system. Tapos, farmers can also access information on the nearest seed grower in their locality. Kasi actually ngayon po, pag sinabing gusto kong bumili ng seeds, hindi po natin maituro kung sino talaga yung nearest seed grower. And through this improvement, ma-address na po natin yun. So next, what are the key features of the service improvement? The system can verify the accredited seed growers and the eligibility. And it has client-facing features such as a survey on the preferred varieties for reference to future seed requirements para may feedback din po sa amin kung ano yung dapat namin itanim. Second, it has agromorphological characteristics of the varieties available. And third, it connects to the warehouse system. So usually kasi po, pag may bumibili, ang tanong nila, ano ba yung angkop sa palayan ko? Ano yung matibay sa peste, matibay sa sakit? So yung mga information na kailangan nila, ando na po sa system para po makapag-decide po sila kung ano yung best na bilhin po nila. So in terms of the steps we have taken to further develop and implement the service improvement, so the project staff and staff users simulated the system and beta testing is currently ongoing to identify parts which can be simplified to further shorten the transaction time. So actually, ang starring role po dito sa simulation ng beta testing, one of them is my office because we are the sales and marketing unit under the business development division. And this planting season, we started beta testing with the current buyers. So yun, this way, na-identify namin kung paano pa siyang mai-improve, kung ano yung dapat namin bilisan pa, kung yun, yung mga ganun po. So in terms of the milestones, dahil program po siya, nakailang revise and improve na po yung system based on the needs na kailangan ng mga users na na-identify din po during simulation. Tapos yung gagamit ng system, which is the employees of PhilRise, there are also a series of onboarding and training of system users. And then, ito na po, we are getting ready for the rollout and implementation. So for the productivity gains, dati kasi manual inputting ng mga accredited seed growers, yung mga pangalan nila, at saka relevant information. So ngayon po, dahil system na siya, magiging ano na po siya, parang magkakaroon na siya ng database of clients and seed growers and farmers din. Tapos, yun nga, yung na-mention ko po, may QR code po na i-issue na sa kanila para every time na bibili sila, itatap lang nila yung QR code nila. Tapos yun, i-madi-digitize na po lahat ng mga listahan na dati po ay manual. So yung feedback naman ng clients, ay kailangan talaga nila ng assistance with the interface. Kasi yung kiosk din po natin ay touchscreen, ganyan. So, most of them, hindi pa po masyadong familiar sa ganong technology. May mga gumagamit pa po talaga ng, anong tawag sa telepono na yun, analog. So, hindi rin po masyadong familiar. Android po yung gamit natin kiosk. So, for the key learnings and next steps, what were the challenges that you encountered? So it is challenging to implement a project with other government agencies and the private sector. Kasi actually, ito pong project na ito ay hindi lang po PhilRise. Kasama po namin ng ibang DA agency like the Bureau of Plant Industry, National Seed Quality and Control Services. Tapos yung private sector that we're mentioning are the accredited seed growers, the seed grower cooperatives. So sobrang challenge po nito na feel namin, especially during the pandemic. Tapos yung procurement po talaga of the needed equipment is also challenging. So we have to borrow from other projects just so we can implement it. So what I can share with you na learnings namin about this is implementing ICT-based services requires first, kailangan po talaga yung internet connection natin mabilis at stable. At hindi po tayo laging nawawala ng kuryente, ganyan. Tapos second, yung learning curve and capacity of the staff users and clients to learn new modalities ay kailangan din po natin i-consider. Kasi yun nga, kagaya namin, ang mga customer base namin ay medyo mga mature individuals, mature farmers. Ganun po. Tapos lastly, importante pong kumuha ng feedback and suggestion para po lalo pa nating mapaganda yung ating service na ino-offer or improvement na in-implement. So, what are the areas for improvement for your project? So, nakita po namin na kailangan ng dedicated computer with strong internet connection and another app. And we are also using another app in tandem with the Binhing Palay app. So if you have an Android phone, you can go to Google Play and search. We have there the Binhing Palay app. Andun po lahat ng agronomic characteristics ng rice seeds. So dadagdagan pa po namin yan para makatulong pa po dito po sa Iponla Rice Seed Information System. So the available opportunities to strengthen the project is really digital transformation. So we have to go through a digital transformation as government agencies to be able to move on or be more efficient in delivering our services. So the management should support this para madali po ang approval ng mga documents. So because of the pandemic, most people, even the skeptical ones, are very much on board when it comes to digital transactions. Napansin po namin, dati po yung mga tao ang dami nilang tanong, bakit gumagawa pa ng mga app si PhilRice. Ngayon po, ang sinasabi na nila, buti na lang may na-develop na app si PhilRice, madaling makita yung information na kailangan nila. And yun nga po, yung pandemic din mismo, yun na rin po yung parang push para yung mga tao ay maging receptive to adopt yung mga digital transactions. So how do we intend to strengthen our project? So the system should be institutionalized and launched at the Department of Agriculture level, and internal and external users should be on board. So nakita ko po kanina yung DOH, may mga ito po yung ginawa nila, in-institutionalize po nila yung bagong service improvement. So this is also what we intend to do in the future. Pero right now nga po, testing pa lang po kami. So if you wish to know more about the Ipunla Rice Seed Information System, please take a screenshot of our contact numbers. So for seeds, for products, and other concerns. For the PhilRice hotline, we have rice experts that can answer your technical queries there. And our email addresses are also published there if you wish to contact us through email. So we also have a Facebook page, PhilRice Products. And if you want to order, you can find us also on Shopee. Just type PhilRice BDD. So yun lang po. Thank you po for listening.
Thank you, Ma'am Chona. Thank you, DA PhilRice. So, palakpakan naman po natin, or let's give a warm round of applause din po to DA PhilRice for their project. So it's come a long way na rin from the concept that they produced last year. So again, congratulations po, and congratulations to our first batch of presenters. Okay, so right now we're going to have a quick Q&A with all of our presenters from the first half. So I'd like to ask the presenters to turn on their cameras so we can actually spotlight you, or we can so that the participants or the viewers can also see you. Okay? Okay. So let's turn on our cameras for our presenters. So from the SWD, Sir Ivan, si Miss Charm from DOT, and DOH, Miss Eloida, si Miss Chona from DA PhilRice. Okay, so we already have a few questions coming in. So, okay. Okay. Okay, so and then maybe we'll go into like specific questions that are directed to the different agencies. So maybe I think this is a question that's also going through the minds of a lot of our participants, both in the past and also right now. We all had different ways of securing the resources for our projects. So I'd like to ask, maybe anyone can answer this actually. So aside, of course, from using our internal resources, what are other ways for us to secure resources? Since all of these are digital innovation projects, what are some ways for us to secure the resources that we need to implement these different improvements? So maybe DSWD, Sir Ivan, I think DSWD took a public and private sector partnership approach to this one. So maybe you can talk a bit about that.
Yes, Beatrice. No, generally, yung yung project is in partnership with the DOST, ASTI, and they have this partner, a private partner ni Bisuko Incorporated. So previously kasi meron kaming partnership with Bisuko, pero na-halt siya kasi siyempre nagkaroon ng pandemic, and then nag-re-strategize ang department. And then ngayon, nakita namin sila as another opportunity, and they're giving yung technology, the cloud technology for free. Kasi parang ito kasi yung supposedly project na innovation back in 2019. So we partnered with them again, but now it's like a tripartite agreement between us, the UST, ASTI, and that of Bisuko. So generally, it would be no cost on the side of the DSWD. We just need to, generally siguro yung funds para sa training ng mga participants, sa amin yun. Pero the entire facility of machine learning, yung technology na pipicturean lang yung filled out form, and then aakyat yung data sa database that will be free and given by DOST and Bisuko. So, tinitin namin siya na mag-last for the pilot stage until first semester of 2022. Tapos, full implementation before the year ends. Tapos, titingnan namin, and then maybe for another series of system improvements. Ang part sa MOU na tinitingnan ay free of charge siya until matapos yung duration ng project. So, yun.
Thank you, Sir Ivan, with the private sector to implement the project. So, ibig sabihin, that just means that we don't actually have to only rely on our internal resources. We can also look outside of our respective organizations. What about with the DOH, Ma'am Eloida? How did you secure the resources for your virtual inspection?
Yeah. As I've said kanina, it is economical. However, pinaka-problem natin yung stability of the internet. Siguro, right now actually, magkasabay din halos kami may presentation yung isang kasama ko sa WHO para they could also give us funding doon sa. Siguro ang i-raise talaga namin is to increase the speed of the internet kasi yun yung pinaka-bottleneck talaga ng lahat ng nag-online platform. So yun siguro with the other organization na nandoon din sa compound namin na nagbibigay naman ng aid. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So that's also important though for the national government really to see that this is a priority for us, and hopefully in the coming months or in moving forward, we have better internet infrastructure, especially for areas in the rural area, especially for more rural areas. Okay, there are some specific questions here, no? So and before that, there are just some suggestions. Maybe, of course, the inclusion of the annual of strong internet or better internet infrastructure in our annual budgets. There are also some who are asking if maybe there can be initiatives to partner with Globe or Smart or other telecommunication providers. But I think to go into the actual processes or maybe into the actual changes that you've had to undergo with your respective projects. So this is a question I think that can apply for DOH and DOT. What do you do if from Ms. Maribel Felix, no, what do you do if the virtual inspection is a failure, or maybe if they don't pass the virtual inspection, or how do you address that? So maybe we'll hear first from Ma'am Charm, and then we can also go into how DOH handles issues with virtual inspections. Ma'am Charm. So how do you or what are the steps that you take, for example, if the virtual inspection or if the company does not pass the virtual inspection?
Good morning po, no. I-clarify ko lang po yung question. If hindi po sila nag-pass sa virtual inspection, meaning they did not meet the standards, or we were not able to fully conduct yung virtual inspection due to failure of internet. Ano po ba yung question, ma'am?
Maybe we can do both po. So yung first, what if they don't meet the requirements? And then the other one is, of course, if we're unable to complete the inspection.
Agency. So kung hindi niya nakikitang magiging ligtas siya with COVID or any health emergency situation sa pagpasok niya sa opisina, o pwedeng mag-apply siya through online. So as of this moment, we are not yet including this one kasi nasa stage pa lang kami ng pilot implementation which will roll out by January. So maybe in the coming months kapag nakita namin siya na tumaas yung usage during the pilot and pre-implementation phase. O pwedeng ganon. Pero sa ngayon, we're just thinking of it as an additional option from that of face-to-face transactions.
Thank you, sir. What about for DOT? So how did you transform or maybe change your internal processes to adjust to these new technology or to this new innovation? Ma'am Charm?
For DOT, ma'am, during the scoping stage, we were able to streamline our application form para less is more, parang ganon yung peg na we streamline the documents needed, the information that we are asking from our clients. So dun po siya, yun po yung major changes na meron during the initial implementation of the online system po.
Thank you po, Ma'am Charm. Okay, and what about for DA Philrice po, Ma'am Shona?
So good morning po. Like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to give a series of trainings to the internal users actually. Kasi meron kaming existing system, financial management and information system when it comes to the purchases of seeds and other products from us. And because of this, mababago talaga yung process kasi ibang process siya. So what we're doing is meron kaming group chat na internal for all the intended users and we have continuous communication with them. And we're also working with the developers of the old system para magkaroon sila ng way na mag-connect. Yun. So I hope I'm making sense here. Pero ganun, meron kaming old system and meron kaming new system and we're working out how we can bridge the two systems together para mas seamless siya and mas maging easy yung adoption. Although, syempre, kung kailangan talagang yun yung gamitin, mapipilitan talaga. Pero syempre, if we can make the process easy, yun nga, user-friendly, I think mas magiging successful siya.
Thank you, Ma'am Chona. And of course, for DOH, how did we have to transform our internal processes there?
Luckily for us, we did not revise or change the system or the process, but we added service. However, before we implemented the virtual inspection, we see to it that everybody, even in doon sa mga maliliit na empleyado namin na hindi yun ang kanilang trabaho, inorient namin sila. For us, na lahat sila naiintindihan yung proseso because it's a new process. So everybody's involved. Actually, nagkaroon ng one-day orientation on how to go about it because lalo na yung mga support system kasi sila yung mapoproseso, sila yung nasa likod ng mga technical people, kaya napakalaki ng tulong nila if alam nila yung proseso. But we did not change the current system process, but we just add. Kasi we felt it na we can use this service even if there's no more pandemic kasi marami kami mga areas na hindi madalas mapuntahan dahil na delikado. So ito yung mga nakikita namin, panangga namin doon in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And maybe just one more question for all of our participants. This is a very interesting one. So this is from Professor Gilcor Cubillo. He said, I believe online transactions are here to stay. Would you agree that it will be better for government agencies to hire or employ technical experts, maybe as plantilla positions, to be in-house developers rather than to hire external experts? And of course, how ready are agencies to consider organic and web and app developers? So anyone can answer this question. So would you agree that it would be better to have in-house developers? And do you think agencies are actually ready to have those kinds of developers?
Okay, can I go first?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, regarding the first system that we were using, it's actually outsourced. It's outsourced. We have a developer for that. He's a private, what do you call that? Private coder. So, but right now, the other applications that we're developing, we already hired in-house developers because I think the supervisors also see that there's wisdom if they're getting internal service contractors because there's more control on their performance. So yun, I think that's the FieldRise experience. Kasi if you just outsource it and they will just give you the code, pag may problem, well, may technical support, pero syempre, iba yung they're employed under you. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, Chona. Are there any other insights to this from our other presenters? So from Sir Ivan, Ms. Charm, Ms. Eloida.
Me from DOH.
Yes po.
I think this is very kailangan talaga. That's very important na meron tayong internal. Kasi pag outsource kasi ang experience namin is pag natapos na yung contract, parang walang continuity. And then mag-uumpisa ka na naman uli. So parang napakagastos sa part ng gobyerno. Instead na makatipid, hirap. Mag-reorient ka. Yung bagong nanalo sa bidding, i-orient mo na naman. So very tedious, nakakasayang ng oras. So luckily for us, meron kaming knowledge management na meron kaming IT sa office na isang bureau. So siguro additional na lang na manpower doon sa kanila at merong dedicated na tao sa office namin, sa bureau namin. Yun yung gusto naming i-work out. Napakaganda ng question ni Professor kasi very timely yan eh. Kasi yan ang kailangan natin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. So I guess we can all agree naman po no, that especially as we're entering this more digital it's really important for us to have that capacity as well in the government. Okay, so thank you to our first set of presenters. We'll have a quick break after this, and then we'll come back for another set of presenters. So this time it will be from the PDEA, so the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, TESDA, BIR, and then of course yung DILG as our last before we have another round of Q&As. So we'll have a quick 5-minute break and then we'll come back at 10:54 to have our second round of presentation. So thank you everyone. Thank you to our presenters. We'll see you all after the break. Okay, I hope we're all back from our quick break, just so we could stretch a bit, get some coffee or water. All right. So for now, we're entering our second half of the presentations. So we will have first PIDEA to present their online system for licensing for medical practitioners, and then we'll have TESDA to discuss the TVET program registration application, and then the Bureau of Internal Revenue for the online business registration system. And then for our last presenter will be the Department of the Interior and Local Government to talk about the delegation of approving authority over requests for motor vehicle purchases. Okay, so let's call on our first presenter for this half, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. So you now have the floor, ma'am. So let's welcome Miss Nina, Sir Miss Nina De Nina to share their service improvement project.
So, good morning everyone. Na-review na po yung screen ko.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I am DDRO3 Nina Nina from the PIDEA Compliance Service, and I will be presenting in behalf of the PIDEA team. So, here's our presentation. So, just a background po ng ating background and problem po ng aming innovation project. So when the former president, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, approved the Republic Act 9165, it led to the creation of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, wherein PIDEA is the lead agency in the implementation of the National Drug Control nationwide. So, included po dito yung implementation ng regulatory enforcement on controlled substance to ensure na available po ito for legitimate use, and also prevents its diversion into the illicit market through issuance po ng mga appropriate and accurate licenses, permits, and accreditations, and as well as yung pag-conduct po ng compliance inspections and investigations. So, lahat po ng aming transaction ay face-to-face po with clients. Currently, PIDEA is using po yung system, yung PIDEA Permits and Licensing System, or the PPLS, which is LAN or Local Area Network, na limited lang po yung accessibility, meaning na-access lang po ito dito sa aming National Headquarters Office, and yung aming mga regional offices po ay wala pong access dito. Hence, lahat po ng applications regions, they still have to forward all the applications dito po sa National Headquarters for processing and encoding. And then, dumating na po itong si pandemic, wherein we really had to come up with an immediate solution on how we could comply with yung guidelines po ni IATF, and at the same time, not hamper yung aming services. Also, na hindi rin po nakakompromise yung health ng aming personnel and the clients as well. So, effective po last year, July 2020, gumamit po kami ng GovMail, wherein lahat po ng applications ay dito po dadaan para po maiwasan yung mga face-to-face contact with clients. However, although yung aming mga work-from-home personnel and regional DDROs ay may access po dito anywhere, still, the processing and encoding ay ginagawa pa rin at the national headquarters. Hence, resulting to longer action of office and processing time on the licenses, permits, and applications. Kaya po, we come up with the innovation project, which is the regulatory compliance system na designed to provide electronic submission of applications nationwide that is accessible anywhere to all authorized internal users. Ang aim din po nito is also to reduce the number of days of the action of office and processing time on the licenses, permits, applications, and also to help to attain the agency's objective, which is providing total client satisfaction. So yun po yung pinaka-background po ng aming innovation project. So this is our name of initiative, the Regulatory Compliance System or the RCS. So ang aming theme po ay service quality, innovation, e-government, regulatory reform, citizen-centered services. So the RCS has two major components. We have the online RCS and the internal RCS. Yung online RCS po ay yung para sa mga external stakeholders. It aims to provide electronic submission of application, na viewable sa mga client din, and verification of license or permit number. For the internal RCS, ito naman po yung for external users naman po namin. It aims to provide facility to assess applications submitted. So, yun po yung aming major components ng system and also their functions. So, dito po ay ano na rin po siya, no? Online registration na siya. So, kailangan na mag-register ng client sa aming bagong system, and they also have to create their own profile. So, meron tayong compliance registration. So, lahat po ng S2 license, S2 license to carry DD, other S license, P license, accreditation, local permit, ay through online submission na. Same with the other transactions, like import projection, report on suspicious orders, report on material changes, report on losses or destruction, notice on retirement, notice on arrival, as well as yung mga submission ng semi-annual reports are to be submitted through this system. At attachment of documents ay online na rin po, assessment of payment, issuance of assessment slip. So, ipiprint na lang po ni client yung kanyang assessment slip. So, verification of payment then is through the system, approval and disapproval of application, until yung issuance na po natin. So, hindi na pupunta si client or hindi na po kami magsisend ng paper. Ano na siya, electronic license na po siya and permit na isisend na lang po and ipiprint na lang po siya ni client. So, online issuance po ng licenses, accreditation, and permit po. So, from registration up to the issuance, through this system na lang po siya. So, ano po yung target impact namin? So, the desired impact ng aming project ay solutions are the following po. Una po is total client satisfaction. Second is to reduce number of action of office. Third is fast customer service. Fourth is seamless experience on client's licensing journey. Fifth is to increase the number of submitted client satisfaction surveys. Next is to increase ratings on client satisfaction surveys. Target of zero client complaint, and good or positive feedbacks from on our client satisfaction surveys. So, ano na po yung milestones and status ng aming project? So, current milestones po namin is that the system can now be accessed by the internal end users through the local area network or the LAN in the PDEA-CS office for testing. Kasi before po, hindi talaga siya na-access pa, no? So, we are relying lang dun sa manual na binigay ng aming service provider. Pero ngayon po, since na-access na po siya, nakaka-conduct na po kami ng testing po ng aming internal stakeholders. So the status of our action plans, currently the service provider is working on the identified glitches on the system, which shall be resolved not later than the end of November. So upon checking po right now, hindi pa rin po na-address yung ibang glitches po ng system na makaka-apekto dun sa aming timeline po ng timeline ng aming project. So for the project impact, hindi pa po namin ma-determine yung the actual results of the project or to make comparison dun sa target impact since yung project po is still subject for final system check prior to the conduct of the pilot testing to the internal and external stakeholders and the system launch. For the issues and challenges we have encountered in the implementation of action steps, first po is yung service provider po ay hindi po siya cooperative. So actually dapat po matagal na po siya na-launch, kaya lang since outsource po yung aming service provider, nagkaka-problem po kami sa communication at yung cooperation, hindi po rin po sila cooperative. So talaga nagkaroon po ng delays hanggang sa dumating po yung time na kailangan namin kumuha ng other service provider na pwedeng mag-push through po nitong para ma-launch po yung system. However, na-decline naman din po siya. Kaya bumalik po kami talaga ulit dun sa aming initial service provider. Kaya lalo pong tumagal yung launching po ng aming system. And then also yung identified glitches in the system, hindi pa po na-address ni service provider. Internet connection din po is poor and unstable. Yung link po is sometimes not accessible. New glitches po emerge every after internal user test. So kung i-test mo siya ngayon, makita mo yung glitches, maayos nila, may lalabas na naman pong panibago. And then technical issues on the system, and also we have yung DDB online payment. Since ang payment po kasi ay sa other government agency, kay Dangerous Drugs Board po. So the online payment dun sa aming system is not yet linked to the Dangerous Drugs Board online payment. So ito pong challenges na ito, pwede po namin siyang i-include dun sa aming opportunity for improvement po dun sa aming system na mai-include yung online payment dun sa RCS online. So next steps po. So yun nga po, no? So we have to address first yung mga glitches po na kailangan po maayos ni external ni service provider, since ang target timeline po namin is dapat po ay makonduct na yung final system check by the end of November. However, since hindi pa po siya na-address yung mga glitches, magkakaroon po ng delay dun sa aming timeline para makapag-conduct kami ng pilot testing, makapag-train kami ng mga tao namin for the new system, and then makonsider yung mga recommendations na external stakeholders dun sa magiging conduct ng aming pilot testing bago namin ma-launch siya by January. And then we also intend to conduct information drive and after implementation planning. So I will just share with you, ito po yung some of the photos or ng aming yung system, yung flow po ng aming system, ng bagong system namin na i-share po namin sa aming social media and official websites para po sa awareness and awareness po and information drive po namin para mas lalong maintindihan ng aming stakeholders yung aming bagong sistema. So we will be posting or in our social media and official websites yung mga procedures po or yung flow on how they can create their account with our new system, how to apply licenses from the start and up to the issuance of it. So yan po yung aming mga photos. Yan po yung isa lang sa magiging part ng aming information drive po. So mas lalo para one way of communicating with our clients or stakeholders for them to easily understand. So that's for the Philippine Presidency.
Thank you,
so
Ma'am
much
Nina.
po.
Thank you, Pidea. Let's give Pidea a round of applause for their presentation and also for the progress they've made on their project. Okay, so congratulations, Team Pidea. Okay, so our next presenter is from the TESDA. They'll talk about their online TVET program registration application. You now have the floor from TESDA to present your innovation project.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Beatrice.
Tina, can you just stop sharing po so that
wait lang, ma'am, I'm having problem with my laptop. Ayaw po mag-click. Wait lang, ma'am. Sorry.
I'll stop your sharing na lang po.
Thank you, Ma'am Bea. Sorry.
So from TESDA po, you now have the floor.
Mapacheck po kung okay na po yung aking.
Yes, we can hear you po and we can also see your screen.
Okay. Okay, good morning to all of us. I'm Ida Timiape from the Program Registration Certification Office of the Technical Education Skills Development Authority. With me is Mr. Anthony Kiamco and Ms. Noemi Balawis, our IT expert. Okay, ang TESDA po, ang grupo ng TESDA was participated in the DAP program on designing citizen-centered public service improvement program last August 9 to 20, 2021. Okay, our project po is registration TVET program, online tracking a program registration application. Okay po, registration at TVET program. Yan po ang title. And for the overview, what is the service? Program registration refers to the process by which TVET programs are registered with TESDA. Applying for program registration indicates the intent of the institution to offer TVET programs. Actually po, before po joining yung training program from the DAP, TESDA po is already implementing na po yung mga programs ng ating government, like po yung ease of doing business. For the program registration po, magbibigay lang po ako ng break back. Now po, ang aming process cycle time for the program registration po is now 3 days na lang po. Okay, for the program registration po, actually po, ang aming submission po of program registration application po is through face-to-face. And since we have the pandemic, our office po is nag-issue po ng policies and guidelines on the online submission of program registration application as an alternative mode of processing application for program registration in the new normal. Since kailangan po natin sumunod dun sa mga health protocols, that's why po ang TESDA is inalign po ang kanyang policies and guidelines in the program registrations dun po sa mga issuances po natin for the health protocols po ng ating government. And yung amin pong in-enrolled for the services, government services po na kailangan po namin i-improve is part po ng program registration, which is the online tracking of program registration application of our applicant TBIs. Kaya ito po yung aming napili because ito po yung maraming complaints na natatanggap po ng TESDA. And we need to address po that kind of complaints through the inclusion po ng service for the online tracking of program registration application of our TBIs. Sorry po. Okay. Who are our clients? Actually, ang mga clients po namin dito is yung private and public TBIs. When we say private po, ito po yung mga private institutions. And for public TBIs, ito po yung mga local government units, SUC na may mga minamanage po ng mga institutions or schools. TESDA technology institutions, ang TESDA po is meron din pong mga training centers. And not only that, we also cater for companies or enterprises. And for the special programs and projects, we also includes our cooperatives, especially po ito yung mga farmers, fishermen, and other sectors po ng ating society na nangangailangan po ng services ng TESDA. Okay, currently yung aming pong program registration, processing a program registration application, we have 5 steps. 2 steps are outside of the process cycle time, and 3 steps are within the process cycle time. Ito po yung mga major steps. And we also provided 4 days for the transmittal of program registration documents. Nationwide po kasi ang TESDA, and we have regional offices and provincial offices. Kaya po nagbigay po ng allowable 4 days for the transmittal of program registration documents. Sa TESDA po kasi, we cannot do away po dun sa face-to-face transactions, especially po dun sa conduct po ng training programs, because the nature po ng Tibet is you need to demonstrate your skills. Yun po, kaya po yung face-to-face transactions and delivery of program will stay po with TESDA. Although we are now into digitized part ng ating life, and lahat po ngayon is on more on IT na po. That's why we need to incorporate po yung development na yan into our services. Just to provide you po information on how we are processing po yung program registration application. Sorry po. Sorry. Okay po. Okay. Ito po yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na process cycle time ng in the processing of program registrations. Yung 2 major processes po, yung conduct of orientation and conduct of site inspection and submit inspection report, inilabas po namin ito doon sa process